And boys and girls, welcome to my channel. I'm for Classic and welcome to BenchART. So for today what I do have in it is Tonyhawk's Pro Skater 3 Plus 4 running on the RX 6700 XT. So this is a game that it is using Unreal Engine 4 and not Unreal Engine 5. So it's not a demanding game, okay? It doesn't mean anything. Of course, developers can make Unreal Engine 4 being demanding, but it's not really the case of this game. It's a game that it is not very demanding, it looks very good, and god, I miss the days of Unreal Engine 4, because despite Lumen and all that kind of new technologies from Unreal Engine 5 are pretty cool, the thing is they are very noisy, okay, and they are also very demanding. But mostly it's the noise that kind of pisses me off. Although there are things that in Unreal Engine 4 Legacy also pisses me off. One of the things that Unreal Engine 5 did fix, fortunately for us, it is most of the stutters, because most of the game had a shader pre-compilation pass. They have been fighting against the shader compilation issues and stuttering, and we are not there yet, but they improved a lot. And Unreal Engine 4, it is kind of a mess in that sense. Fortunately for us, the later games with Unreal Engine 4 had a shader compilation pre-pass, which is that screen sometimes at the beginning of the video saying we are pre-compiling shaders, please wait. That screen actually made us have less stuttering inside the game. And you know what? Tonyhawk's Pro Skater 3 Plus 4, it's an Unreal Engine 4 title that doesn't have any of that. And what does that mean? It means that the game stutters so damn much. It's actually unplayable at the beginning of the game. Look at this stutter at the moment. Look at this. Oh my god. There is so much stutters in here. And I thought to myself that this test would suck, because the first run that I've made, it was this one, 1080p maximum settings, which you can see that it runs flawlessly at very high resolution, very high frame rate, aside from the stutters. So it runs awesome, aside from the stutters. But the thing is, the more you play, the less stutters you get when you don't have this kind of shader pre-compilation passes. And so I thought to myself, this is going to be so unfair, because when I'm going to test 4K, most of the shaders are already compiled on the fly, so it's going to stutter less. But fortunately, thank you AMD for this. AMD have a screen or an option on their drivers, which with a simple click of a button, you erase all the shaders that have been compiled, which means that when you press that button, it will force all your games to pre-compile the shaders, the ones that they support it, and in case of Tonyhawk's Pro Skater 3.4, it means that it's going to stutter as hell, okay? It's like you are booting the game for the first time, so every time I pushed up that button inside the AMD drivers, and every time I entered in Tonyhawk's Pro Skater, what I do get, it is like the first run of the game for the GPU. So it will be the first, it's going to represent kind of the performance that you will get every the first time you enter the game, okay? And this is what I've tried to show you in this video. So every new setting I did try, you can notice like a lot of stutter, and so results are more or less comparable. They are more or less because I can't really clone my runs in between settings. That would be amazing, but unfortunately I haven't done that. It's impossible for me, okay? Sorry. Okay, so, but let's forget a little bit about the stutters. It's a mess, and it's unacceptable that in 2025 we have seen so much people complaining about stutters. We have like the media, like Digital Foundry, Alex to be more precise, complaining about shader compilation, and we have kind of this game coming from Activision, okay, and Microsoft, and Xbox, and whatever you want to call it, behind all of this, and none of the people have decided to put a pre-compilation step inside the game? Really? Really? Nobody thought about this? Nobody on the team bring this up on a daily or on a technical review or something, saying that no, we need to pre-compile shaders because it's going to be a mess on PC? Well, apparently no one had that idea, and if someone had that idea and it was shut down, possibly you are giving the voice to the wrong people inside your team. Maybe. Okay. But again, let's forget about this and let's focus on performance only, because after you played like a couple of sessions of this game, you won't be having any stutter, so what it matters is the performance. And so at 1080p, like I said, you could play the game at max settings. Okay, there is a difference between maximum and max, because the game have a preset that is called maximum, but it's not really the maximum settings you can go with, despite it is called maximum, because when you enable maximum settings, there is a setting there called shadows that it's set to high and not to maximum. I'm not sure if this was intended or not, but I think it's a little bit strange. But okay, so 1080p you can play with max settings, including that shadow option at max, okay? 1440p I can run flawlessly above than 60, again, aside from the stutters, with the maximum preset, which means that the game is at maximum settings, but shadows is at high. Okay, and at 4K, my recommendation for playing above than 60, very stable, aside from, again, the stutters, it's to play at high settings using FSR on its balanced mode. So FSR on its balanced mode, you are essentially upscaling from 1200 and something p, so it's something in between 1080p and 1440p, but thanks to FSR magic, it's going to look better than playing natively at 1440p. And now to finish off, I have a comparison for other possible settings that you might want to use to play at 4K if you have a 4K screen. And on the left we have the maximum preset, which is the one with the shadows on high. On the left, using FSR on its quality mode. So it's essentially upscaling from 1440p to 4K. It plays mostly above than 60 frames per second, but in some key areas with more details and shadows it might drop below than 60. Okay, so it might make sense for people that are not really very sensible to those drops, or people with variable refresh rate screens. And on the right, what I do have it is 4K maximum, okay, which have the shadows on high and no upscaling being used, so it's 4K native in here. And the performance is pretty much above than 40. Possibly some variable refresh rate screens might make it, but I'm not so sure about that for the rest of the game in different maps, and you know the drill. I also tried the game with the absolute maximum settings at 4K native, but performance was around the 30 and that drops below than 20, so yeah, it was not great, okay? And so that's all for Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3+4. So amazing remake, very good graphics, very cool style, very nice soundtrack as expected. Unfortunately entirely broken due to the lack of shader pre-compilation step. So let's hope they had these on the latest patch. That would be just perfect for the PC. Okay, so that's it. Thank you a lot for watching, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye. Whoa!